Hello and welcome to Harpening. This week we're talking about session playing. This is the second video about session playing, so if you've missed the first one, you maybe want to get the basis, then go back and listen to that one first. In today's video, we'll continue on the theme of accompaniment patterns. In the last video, we talked about accompanying with two chords and we used the scale of C. This video is going to be in the scale of G and we're going to play three chords, so we're adding another chord. Let's start. First, I want to tell you something about the scale. We're playing in the scale of G, and you will find that if you're playing Irish music or Scottish music, many tunes are written in the scale of G. The scale of G means that you have to put one lever up, and that is the F. You'll have an F sharp. So your scale will sound like this: G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. One of the things to know when you're playing scales is that there's something that's called scale degrees, which is an easier way to talk about chords. A scale degree is basically a number for the string that you're using or for the note that you're using. They depend on the first note of your scale. So when we're in the scale of G, the first note is G, and that is your first degree. Then you continue up to the next one. So A would be the second degree, B is the third degree, C is the fourth degree, D is the fifth degree. Then you get E 6, F sharp 7, and then you come to G again, which is your first degree. It's good to know that many tunes in major scales can be accompanied by using three chords. Those are the chords of the first, the fourth, and the fifth degree. This is particularly true for children's songs, at least it is in the Netherlands, but it can also be used for some Irish tunes. In last month's video, we played in the scale of C. In that case, C is your first degree, and you count up. D is second, E is third, F is fourth degree, and G is fifth degree. So actually, last month, when we used the C chord and the G chord, we used the first and the fifth degree. So we were already using two of the chords we need. The very handy thing about playing the harp is that once you put your levers in the right position, the fingers that you're using and the distances between the fingers can actually stay the same in the different major keys. Last month, we played C and then with the right hand a C, like this. And then we changed to G. That was the first degree and the fifth degree. And we can do the same thing in the scale of G. So let's go back and check which notes we would actually need. The first degree in the scale of G is the G. The fifth degree is, counting upwards, the D. So, using the pattern that we did last month, we can do G and then up to D. Back to G and up to D. That would be 1 and 5 and ending on G. That would be 1 and 5 in the scale of G. Now the note I want to add is the fourth degree. So let's start by using the G, then going up to the fourth degree, which is C, then going to the fifth degree, which is D, and going back down to G again. We're playing every chord twice, and we're using that same pattern that we just did. So left hand plays one note, right hand plays one note twice. 1, 2, 3, G. Now going up to C. Now going up to D. And back down to G. And we're stopping on this G. Let's do that again and play along with me if you can. 1, 2, 3. G, C, D, and G. Well done. Last month we also used a fifth in the bass. That meant that you were playing the fifth note on top of your bass note. So in this case, if you're playing a G chord, you're playing the G with your third finger and then the fifth note, which is the D. Now here it gets very important to realize that that bass note, the G, is actually what your chord is. So even though you're playing the D as well, you're still on your first degree. So with the chord of G, you're playing the G and the D together. Let's do that. And then with the chord of C, you would move upwards using the C with your third finger and then the fifth note on top of that C. So C is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which means that you come to a G with your thumb. C and G. Then it gets easier because in order to go to the fifth degree, you would just need to move both your fingers up one string. So we're playing G and D together, which is the chord of G, the first degree. Then we go to C and G together, which is the fourth degree. And then we're going to D and A together, which is the fifth degree. The right hand only keeps playing this one note that we were already doing. So if you want, you can play along G and D, and then the right hand plays only the G. So it would sound like this. 1, 2, 3. Yes, let's do this together. Going from G to C to D. 1, 2, 3, G. And again, going up to C. Going up to D. And back down to G. Let's repeat this. So we're doing G twice again. 1, 2, go up to C. Go up to D. And back down to G, and we're ending with the G chord. Well done. The other thing we did was use the whole chord in the right hand. So a G chord would be G, B, and D. Then a C chord would be C, E, and G. A D chord would be D, F sharp, A. If we do this together with the left hand playing one note, only the G, it's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3. So let's practice this. 1, 2, 3. G. Going up to C. The right hand moves up to C, G. Going up to D. And back down to G. Let's repeat the whole thing. G, 1. And again, going up to C. Going up to D. And back down to G. And we're going to stop on a G chord. As we talked about last time, it can be annoying to have to change all the way up, and it might not always sound nice. So one of the things you can do is look at which fingers you're using for the chord and how you could change them more easily to the next chord so that some of the fingers can stay on the same string. In order to do this, I would first like to start with the two chords that we used last time, but change them into the key of G. we're going to use the same type of chord that we did last month in order to show you how easy it is to actually change around. I'll show you first what we did on the C chord. We played C, E, and G. That was last month. In order to change to a G chord, all we needed to do was put the lowest two fingers, so the third and the second finger, one down. So we would play B, D, G. So it would be C, E, G, and then B, D, G. That would be the C chord and the G chord. First degree and fifth degree. Now we're going to go first degree, a G chord, which is played G, B, and D. And we're going to do that same trick in order to play the fifth degree, which was putting the third and the second finger one string down. So that would be to the F sharp and the A. So now you have a G chord, G, B, D, and a D chord, F sharp, A, D. And you can do the same thing that we did last month. Starting on G, playing left, right, right twice, and then going to the D and putting the right hand down the second and the third finger, so F sharp, A, D, and repeating that, so G, website harpening.com, you can find a recording of last month's tune, which was Cockles and Mussels, in the key of G, so that you can play along with these two chords. But instead of playing them C and G, you'll be doing the chords G and D. Now, since I want to do a bit of a progression, we'll start using the fourth chord as well. The fourth degree chord was the C chord, and we'll have to add that in. So we're going from the G chord, G, B, D, to a C chord, which is C, E, and G. You can do this by just keeping the G the same. The G here is played with the third finger since you're starting on the G chord. So all you'll have to do is move the second finger and the thumb up to the C and the E. So now instead of moving the fingers down, you're moving your fingers up. So you have G, B, and D. And then you'll play, in order to go to the C chord, G, C, and E. So try it with me. We have the G chord, G, B, and D. Let's play them. And then we're getting to the C chord, G, C, and E. Well done. Let's practice this first. And we're doing the same rhythm that we did. So we do G twice, and go up to C with the bass, back down to G. You can join in if you want. Go to C, back down to G, up to C. You're doing very well. Let's do them both once more. So G, and up to C, and stop on G. Now for the tune that we're doing, what you will need is to be able to go from the G chord to the C chord smoothly. So G, B, D to G, C, E. And went from the G chord to the D chord. So we had G, B, D, going down to the D chord with F sharp, A, D. This you can practice separately. So you're going from G to C, up, and back down to G. And we're going down to D, back to G, up to C, back to G, and back down to D, ending on G. Now the tune that we're doing is called South Wind, and it uses these progressions. So practice them first and then play along while I play the tune. The tune starts on a G chord, so put your hands ready on G. It also starts on the upbeat, the third beat of the bar. I'll count you in, doing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, then my right hand starts with the melody, and then I'll name the chords and you can play them along. Most times they are repeated, so mostly you'll play G twice, then go to D twice, but sometimes you only need one bar of the chord. You can find the sheet music on harpening.com. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, G, D, G, C, G, G, D, G, C, G. Stay on G. Go down to D, G, D, G, D, G, C, and G, and on G. You can also find a recording of this tune so that you can play along with me while I just play the music and I won't talk. You can just play along and do your pattern progressions. Good luck practicing. I'll see you next week.